Hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist,
I'm Mikey. The E stands for evil.
I'm the gamer in yellow.
and we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. And tonight we have... Oh, here she comes. Watch out, boys, she'll chop you up. Oh, here she comes. Oh, Mama Cleaver. But yeah, we're doing The Legend of Old Mother Cleaver. And this one was by Shadow Swimmer 77, who we got an email a couple of weeks ago about, because we did their story, I Found a Dark and Lonely Road, and they listened to our podcast episode of it, and they liked it, and they suggested checking out more of their stories. So I decided to throw some onto the roster.
Sounds good.
So yeah, Shadow Swimmer 77 and The Legend of Old Mama Cleaver. It's an entry for Red Nova Tyrant's Cruel Fate writing contest. Fate has dealt the card, or I guess you get like a randomly generated card, or like a generated word to kind of go off of for your writing prompt. And the one that Shadow Swimmer got was Justice. And this story can be found on creepypasta.wiki under, like, if you Google it, I think actually it might be a pasta of the month. I'm not 100% sure on that. However, let's just kind of dive into the rundown, shall we? So Sam, our narrator, is telling this story that it truly happened to them growing up. No embellishments needed. It's kind of cliche. They even recognize that. They're like, oh, it's a true story. It happened and whatnot. But we go into this with that kind of headspace. He moved into a town in Pennsylvania one summer when his parents decided to try separation. His dad was deployed often, and the strain of like moving around and like being in the military and stuff kind of put a wedge through in his mom and dad's marriage. His mom works a lot during like their time in this town, and Sam has a lot of time because it's the summer to just kind of wander around town during all this. This was also in an earlier time, like probably the 80s, since Freddy Krueger is referenced, and the internet is said to not be a thing. So
yeah,
he meets Tom and Terry, two brothers who became fast friends with him. They had also lost their mom a few years back, and so their dad has a similar situation with to Sam's mom, where he's very busy during the day, and so the boys just kind of roam around town, doing whatever they want because they got nothing else to do during the summer. And it was a simpler time where it may not have been the safer time, but it was a simpler time. Where you could let your kids just wander around. They made some very fond memories that summer, including sleepovers and little bonfires and what have you. And it's actually one such sleepover and bonfire that Tom recounts the story of Old Mother Cleaver, a witch in the woods who was scorned by the town's mayor when his wife died giving birth. The town was rallied and burned the house down. However, the witch wasn't there, but her son was, and so he died. Seeking revenge, the witch used spells to find those responsible and had them confess to her at night. Like she'd sneak into their houses and hide under their beds, and then come out and use a spell of like a glamour of some kind to appear like a loved one, and basically have them confess their sins. And if they told the truth, she would let them live, kissing them on the forehead and moving on. If they lied, they were beheaded by a large cleaver. Hence the moniker Old Mother Cleaver. So Terry pipes up and says that, like, during this scary story time, Terry pipes up, and they say that they say that they should take Sam to the burned out house in the woods. And while Tom is hesitant about it for some reason, Sam agrees, and so they decide to do that the next day. Move on to the next day. As Sam heads home to quickly grab some stuff and get changed and whatnot from their sleepover before heading out to go meet the boys, he notices that his mom's on the phone and seems agitated about something, but Sam ultimately chalks it up to some grown-up stuff between his mom and dad that he can't really help. As the three venture into the woods, it's revealed that the brother's mom was killed the last time they went to the burned out house, and that's why Tom was so reticent about going there. And they even, like, Terry even blames Mother Cleaver because Terry stole a piece of finger bone that they found at the burned out house prior. And also that their mom was found cheating with a neighbor who was also later beheaded mysteriously. Unfortunately, the cops never found any killer, so it kind of just got chalked up as another strange tragedy in the town. Which apparently, this town just anytime a strange death does happen in this town, they just kind of chalk it up to old Mother Cleaver and just walk and keep on.
Mm-hmm.
Now it seems Terry wants to confront the Cleaves, which is another name that Tom I think gives Mother Cleaver. Give her the Cleaves! The Cleaves! Wow, I'm just doing like a bunch of like mock references today.
This is a referential episode.
Yes. Do you get what that's a reference to, though?
I don't.
Gamer? Give him the clamps! The clamps! It's like an old gangster kind of like term, I think.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Or Futurama.
That's that's where it's from. Yeah, Futurama. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on here. So, yeah, so they go out. They're going out there because Terry really wants to confront the Cleaves and ask her why she killed their mom. They get to the house and Terry just kind of runs off down into the cellar where Tom and Sam eventually follow, but like there's some hesitation there. Tom doesn't think this plan is even remotely smart. And finally tries to stop his brother from pulling it off. While they're arguing by the skeleton in the cellar, Sam decides to help out his new friends and opts to be the bait for the confrontation. So he takes a finger bone. That night, after a tense wait all day with their plan, and saying what could be his final goodnight to his mom, Sam sleeps and is woken up by his mother in his dark room. And she asks why he was troubled and quiet before bed. Sam says that he's okay, but asks what the phone call was all about earlier. His mom says that it was some trouble at work and not to worry about it. She then notices the finger bone on the side table and asks about that, which Sam speaks truthfully that he is helping out his friends with something, and she commends him for being such a good boy and kisses him on the head and leaves. Then Sam remembers the damn story and realizes that it was probably the Cleaves. He checks his friends who are outside, like keeping watch, and they're still flashing their light to like notify him that they're still out there. He checks his mom, who's sleeping soundly in bed, and everything seems okay. There's nobody in the house, so he eventually goes back to sleep and wakes up the next morning. The next day, he goes to meet his friends who saw nothing strange all night while they were on watch. However, then Sam hears that his mom is on another call that morning, and it turns out the judge that she's been working with, like she's been working as a secretary for, was murdered. And by murdered, I mean beheaded, because apparently he had been taking bribes, and mom didn't. Mom had found out, but was trying to figure out what to do about it. However, Mother Cleaves apparently intervened. Unfortunately, this turn of events caused Sam and his mom to move out of the town, and his parents did eventually just get divorced. Life moved on. He tried staying in contact with the brothers for a little while via mail, but eventually that kind of dwindled, and life moved on again. The strange thing, though, Mother Cleaves never took the finger bone. He still has it to this day. That's why this is a true story, and why Sam has endeavored through his life to be as truthful as possible just in case he receives another visit from Old Mother Cleaver. And that is the rundown for The Legend of Old Mother Cleaver. So, I guess we will move on to everyone tolerates the Grammar Inquisitions at this point. And I have one or two sentences that I need to kind of air out here. My mom was late to work and seemed upset. She was talking to my dad over the phone, though, so probably not anything I could do about. So, this is dialogue, but
Didn't even catch that one, honestly.
my kind of fix for this is she was talking to my dad over the phone, or talking to my dad on the phone, even.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end there, I think that there should be an it. So it's like, so probably nothing I could do about it. Again, it is dialogue, but these do seem like they were kind of just some very minor like typos in the actual writing.
Is there no it there in the sentence at all?
Nope.
Okay, because you could also put the it earlier, saying like, basically, I don't know the sentence there, but basically like, there was a problem, but whatever it was, there was nothing I could do about it. Like, there was nothing I could. I'm trying to think of another way to put it together.
Yeah, so like, it's my mom was late.
There was nothing I could do about.
Yeah,
That still sounds weird.
To do about, yeah, that's what was throwing me off. And again, it could be like a dialect thing, maybe, but like I think there should be an it there.
Probably.
Yeah. And that's my grammar position, honestly. So Mikey, the E stands for evil. What do you got?
All right. To do third sentence. In this day and age, claiming something incredible happened without video proof is a surefire way to make certain people won't believe you. So I feel that this needs a that. So to make certain that people won't believe you.
Yeah.
The other way I did it is a surefire way to make certain people. Oh, right. Yes. Sorry. Yeah, this was confusing for me because when I read it, I didn't understand where like it was meant to be in regards to how it was certain people.
Mm-hmm.
It's
He's
worded
talking about like basically people on the internet who like, oh, yeah, sure, this is a true story. Uh-huh.
Well,
I did also slip up on this one, and I reread it as like, oh, okay, that's what it meant, probably.
Yeah, the way I read it first, like the reason I got stumbled up is because I didn't know if it was saying to make certain or to say certain people.
I hear. Okay, yes, yeah.
Because it could be a surefire way to make certain people not believe you, or a surefire way to make certain that people won't believe you.
Don't we love the English language?
Yeah, I know. Just move one word around and it changes whether or not you're referring to a specific group of people or just make sure that all people.
Yeah, make specific people.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yep. It's a daily struggle.
It's a weekly struggle for us, at least.
Yes.
All right. So the next one here. The story I'm about to relate happened, though just the way I'm telling it, no embellishment needed. So my problem is with relate happened. Seems a bit clunky there.
Yeah, I gotta pull up the story here, like proper, so I can. I'm not like what?
Yeah, it's like the story I'm about to relate has happened, though just, or even get rid of the though.
Give me a second here.
Has happened just the way I'm telling it.
Yeah. The hell is that in the story? Okay, yeah, I see it. No, yeah, okay, yeah, so it's yeah, okay, you're. Oh wait, hang on. The story I'm about to relate happened, though. Okay, I understand where he's coming from. Like, it's like though just the way I'm telling it, so no embellishment needed. Because like it's like I'm about to relate the story. However, I've just said like earlier that like a bunch of stories that are supposedly true, they tend to like make it like super embellishment and some of that, but that's not the case because it's not needed in this. Like I get what he's trying to say, but I understand where you're coming from for that.
Mhm. So the next one I have, I believe, is missing an I. It was the fact that the older Take Charge Tom was so obviously terrified that made up my mind.
Yeah. Huh.
So Tom was
Yeah.
so obviously terrified that I made up my mind.
How did I miss that?
I missed it too.
Holy shit! Like, yeah, because I must have Taiwanese it. Like, I just added in that that either it or I. Huh. You'd also put maybe even he, like so, like that he made up my mind because like he's referring to Tom's reticence for what's going on.
Mhm. And then I have a conjunction junction.
All right. And next stop, conjunction junction. Doot, doot.
But when you take a look at the events inspiring them, you'll find an excessive amount of artistic license has gone into the end product. And that's where we ended up, a little town in Pennsylvania not far from Pittsburgh. It was summer when we arrived, a particular hot one, and I remember flies the size of gumballs flitting through the air that seemed hazy because of the heat. It was on one of those evenings about 2 months after I'd moved to town, roasting marshmallows and telling ghost stories, that I was introduced to the legend of Old Mother Cleaver. It was the fact that the older Take Charge Tom was so obviously terrified that made up my mind. It didn't take long, maybe only 30 seconds or so, but the time seemed to stretch on for an eternity as Tom carefully felt his way along the earthen wall and I clutched his shoulder. But I was resolved. But the main reason I ill advisedly took a small finger bone from the witch's burned out cellar was I wanted to help my new friend. It seemed like she had a lot on her mind, too. It was dark in my room, but there was enough light streaming through the window from the moon that I could tell it was her. Certainly not an enraged witch readying to chop off my head. It was a long beat before my brain processed what had just happened. But that was then, because I've still got the finger bone. But if the night comes that old Mother Cleaver sneaks out from under my bed and asks me about my sins, ready to deliver her unique brand of justice, I want to be sure I answer honestly. Finn.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a bit of wordy sentences there.
Yeah, there's yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I really did like this story, so I might have like I think I must have like skimmed over like just not like just kind of like mentally ignored a bunch of shit.
Well, I think what Mikey was
So-
saying is like they're long sentences, so the ones that he chose
Yeah, no, that's
were
what I mean,
really
like,
long sentences.
Yeah, I mean they a couple of those I did notice were kind of almost a little bit run on, not quite run on, but kind of getting
Maybe
there.
tiny bit.
It's like they're definitely teetering the edge on like one too many words.
Yeah. For those not in the know, the reason Mikey does these sorts of things is to lay out all of the sentences that start with words that you probably shouldn't start sentences with, like conjunctions or ands and buts and stuff.
To lay out the grammatical sins of a story.
Yeah. It's on display for all to see.
Yeah, so they can be chopped.
And dissected.
And then we kiss them, and then we kiss the story on the head, and then we walk away. But is that all you got there, Mikey?
Yep.
All right, then on to the grammar in yellow.
Indeed. This is a Let's about to start. This is a true story, period. I know that's cliche to say, period. In this day and age, commas, claiming something, blah, 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 blah. So I feel like the first two sentences are really short, and you could just combine them to, this is a true story, comma, I know that's cliche to say.
Yeah.
Period. Also, when I was reading it, there was so much punctuation right at the gate that I was like stumbling. I didn't know if it was saying, I didn't know if it was saying, it's cliche to say in this day and age. Like, they almost blended together for me.
Yeah.
Because that is also a way you would say it, that it's cliche in this day and age, but
Hey, it almost rhymed.
into the next, yeah, but separated into the next sentence, so it confused me.
Yeah. Also, yeah, the way it's like telegraph. It's like, this is a true story. Stop.
Kind of.
I know that's cliche to say in this day and age. Stop.
Pretty much. But the way that I would actually do it is, it's a true story. Period. I know that's cliche to say, comma, in this day and age, comma, claiming something, blah 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 blah.
Okay.
Or you may not even need the second comma, actually. But either way, there should be some combining, in my opinion.
Yeah. Now we know how much you hate. Like, we have a very like we like the middle ground on this show. Apparently, we either hate run-on sentences, and a couple of us hate really short sentences.
Well, I only hate them when I'm like stumbling over them.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like, if they're talking about the same thing as well, you might as well combine them.
I know. I've never. You and I know that we don't have like we have a various opinion on that whole thing. But
yes, for sure.
Yours is right, and I'm clearly wrong.
Well, yeah, of course, but that's fine. Everyone does it. Everyone does it, comma, though, comma, specifically in the realm of the scary and supernatural. I feel like having though surrounded by commas made it kind of sound like the sentence was prepared to be much longer. Like it was going to be like, everyone does it, though, especially in the realm of the scary and supernatural, it happens all the damn time. But it doesn't have that extra bit.
Yeah, you don't need that though. Even like, sorry, I don't know if that's your bit there, but yeah, I like listening to that. It almost sounds like you don't need that though, because it could just be like everyone does it, especially in the supernatural and realms.
True. But I just found it weird how putting a comma before and after it made my expectations for the sentence change. Because if it was just, to my correction, everyone does it though, especially in the realm of scary and supernatural.
That would also work, yeah.
But when I'm reading it as it is, everyone does it, though, especially in the realm of the scary and supernatural. See, didn't it sound like I was going to continue?
Yeah. Also, I'm just noticing that like this is now the second time, at least in the story, that though has been used when it probably really shouldn't be, or like when it's kind of a hindrance to the story a little bit. That's apparently the word of the day for the story is though.
Only those two though. I don't believe I have extra those.
But those are the two those though.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm just like, I guess not off to a great start.
He's fine.
Yeah.
Moving on. Movies like The Text Thought. Yeah, I can't talk today. Hang on. Say words right. Ow, my face.
So puffy now.
This is like now my cheek is swollen.
Yeah, I almost spit up my coffee. I was not expecting you to do that.
You're welcome. Movies like The Text. I can't talk today.
Movies like The Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Strangers are supposedly based on true stories.
I need to say this myself.
I know.
Movies like The Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Strangers. That's all I needed to say. So, The Strangers, the part should be capitalized and not.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Also, I probably would have put those in quotations just because they are titles to movies. But that's just something I do in writing.
Mm-hmm. Either way, the capital has to be there.
Yeah.
Because it's in the title.
Mm-hmm. I mean, technically, also the sorry, not to cut you off.
It's fine.
But technically, the before Texas Chainsaw Massacre should also be capitalized because it is The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I
Oh,
think.
is it?
Hang on, I'm gonna double check actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think it was.
To be fair,
Alrighty
like
then.
again, like I said that and it was like, wait, is it? Or am I just being really
Yeah.
pedantic here? But yeah, no.
So it's
Again,
both of them.
yeah, it's fine.
The next one, minus a few ceiling fans that didn't do much to cool you off. Period. Accordingly, comma, I spent most of my days wandering around. So, I just, the word accordingly was kind of put in kind of weird, in my opinion. Just like its
Okay.
placement, to like start a sentence with, because
I mean,
it sounds like it's relating directly to the ceiling fans, as in minus a few ceiling fans that didn't do much to cool you off accordingly. Period. I spent most of my days wandering around.
no.
Isn't it?
The way it's no, so the way it's being so, and I think you're missing part of that first sentence too. Where is that in the story? Fuck.
Search for
I
ceiling
found it.
fans.
Yeah. Okay. So you're missing a whole section of the story, man. So
Well, I'm only reading the
a
part
little-
that I need to change.
Well, that's not okay. We need. Okay. Anyways, here it is. Like the little 2-bedroom duplex she could afford on her salary, comma, even supplemented with monthly checks from my dad, comma, was cozy but didn't have air conditioning, comma, minus a few ceiling fans that didn't do much to cool you off. Period. Accordingly, comma, I spent most of my days wandering around town to take my mind off the heat. So accordingly there I feel is actually fine because it is kind of linking this next sentence to the previous one in regards, because like it's basically cause and effect. Like their duplex and all that is fine, but like there's no air conditioning and the fans do diddly squat. So therefore that's why he roams around town trying to take his mind off the heat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the word in a different context, I believe.
Probably because the English language sucks.
Yeah,
And it accordingly can mean multiple things.
fair.
I'll give that one to Gamer.
What?
What?
Ow,
Go
there
through all
you
this stuff to specifically explain it. And Mike just, no, you're wrong.
Yeah, no, you're wrong. You're wrong, and I hate you.
Mhm.
That's okay. I'm used to it on the show.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so joking aside,
Yes.
possibly.
We are joking. I don't hate you. Guys. No.
Next one is the rhyme itself, specifically the formatting of the rhyme,
Yeah.
where it's
Yeah.
capital. I won't read the whole thing. I'll just read the first little bit.
Yeah.
Capital Old Mother Cleaver, then capital U, willn't see her, capital hiding beneath your bed. Period. So, because of the places that the capitalization shows up, is it meant to
Right.
be like
Emphasis.
tabbing down each time? Like those are
Or
each
like,
line?
old Mother Cleaver, you will. Yeah, you will. You wilt. Wilt. God damn old English.
Yeah,
That's definitely old. That's like that sounds like old Americana English or something.
yeah,
Like
for sure.
you won't see her. You won't see her hiding beneath your bed while you are sleeping. She will be sneaking out to cut off your head.
Oh, is it
Also-
just meant to be like those
Emphasis.
words are enunciated?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Or
there might be a
emphasized,
beat
yeah.
to it. I couldn't figure out the beat to it either, so
Yeah.
Well,
I was trying.
Yeah, well, it was it. Old Mother Cleaver, you willn't see her, hiding beneath your bed. While you're sleeping, she will be sneaking out to cut off your head.
See, wow, nice.
You just
Bravo.
do it. And both
Holy
of us
shit.
are like, I don't understand.
Well, because I couldn't figure out the beat, but like, yeah, no, fuck, you just did it right there. Like I ended up having to read it like just like a poem sort of thing, or like and that was kind of my big issue about the poem or about this rhyme is it wasn't like, because it's done up in this like sentence format and it's also just italics. It was like really hard to kind of figure out to like kind of differentiate between like it and the descriptors between the verses.
Mhm.
So I feel like it should have been like either in quotes and maybe even like cut like kind of like old Mother Cleaver, you won't see her hide it, or you won't see, or old Mother Cleaver, you won't see her, and then cap, and then down on the bottom, like the next one is like hit enter
I think
after that. So
I
it's
think
hiding beneath your bed, and then another enter, and then while you are sleeping, she will be sneaking, and then and then hit enter again, and then so it's at the so there's another line
Well,
out to cut off your head. Like that's how I would have
No.
broken it up, just so I could actually like get the verses, because as it is
way
right
that
now,
I
it was
did
hard
it-
for me to read it.
for me, I broke it up after Cleaver. So, Old Mother Cleaver, next line. You won't see her, next line.
Yeah, that would work as well.
I said that at the very beginning, and I've been trying to
Yeah.
say that while
I'm
you guys have been
sorry. I'm
talking.
sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Like at the start of every odd capitalization, I snapped it down a line.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
That's the way I
I'm sorry.
suggested from the very start of
I'm
this.
sorry. I bulldozed over your your talking. Apparently,
It's fine. We do that enough to you. I guess it's fine. That happens
Yeah.
to me occasionally.
okay. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right, guys. This. I like the
Yeah,
I like the poem because it reminds me of the Pumpkinhead song, but like yeah, it's just not formatted properly.
Yeah, formatting it the way that you're suggesting it, you're keeping the last word, all the rhyming words,
Yeah.
or at least the ones that like. Yeah, actually, all of them do rhyme because bed and head do eventually as well. They just
Well,
don't.
for the
It's
first
not.
verse.
Yeah.
Then the second
That's
verse
what-
just sort of breaks
But I mean, that's also how poems work sometimes.
Regardless, formatting. Moving on.
Yes.
Um,
Sorry.
it.
I feel like gamers just like, all right, fuck it, let's move on. I don't care anymore.
Go a little bit. So Terry shrugged. We had a bad experience last time we went there. I looked at him, waiting for more. And you're both crazy for wanting to go to that house. Tom pushed his way through the screen door onto the stoop, but there's no way I'm letting you go alone. So, did Tim or Tom say
That was
you're
Tom.
going? You're both. Can I say words?
Sorry. I sorry. I'm sorry.
Did Tim or Tom say you're both crazy for wanting to go to that house?
It's also not
the
Tim.
last
It's
one.
Terry.
Huh?
It's Terry and Tom, not Tim and Tom.
Why did I say
You
Tim? Why
you
did I
said
put
Tim
down
like 3
Tim?
times.
Because I kept having to repeat myself because you kept fucking cut me off.
Sorry.
Fine. Terry, I corrected it in my notes. I don't know why the hell I wrote down Tim. I was lazy. I wanted to use less words. Okay, so either way, who the fuck said it? The
Tom.
first part. Because the way
that
it's
was-
worded, it's the way it's worded. It says, "And you're both crazy for wanting to go there," but up until that point, it has been Terry and Sam talking. And then all of a
Yes,
sudden, Tom pushes his way through the screen door onto the stoop and says a line. But did he say the previous line before he walked out
Yes, he
or
did.
not? It's not very clear.
It based on the context of what he said, it made sense to me. I could see, like, I mean, you could also just have that, like, the descriptor of him barging out before that to make it more clear for certain people, but yeah, okay.
Well, I wouldn't move it like that. I would just go, like, they're having their conversation, and then there's this line, and that line goes, but right at the end of that line says Tom said, pushing his way through the screen door on the stoop, but I'll be there.
Okay.
So right from, like, you read the whole, you would still be going back over it, like I hate doing, but you would read the line and be like, oh, it was Tom, like right away.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing in this sentence that specifically says he said that.
But
Because
it wouldn't be Terry saying that because
But it would be because
No,
the whole
it-
subject. It would be because the whole subject of this is Terry telling Sam what Tom was saying to him.
I'm like, you know what? I understand where you're coming from, but I gotta disagree on creative standpoint. It's like to me it works. I'm like,
'Cause Sam was asking Terry.
I hate that we contrast so much on the show, but like at the same time, it's like no, like it's fine the way it is.
I don't know. I disagree because
That's
again,
fair.
Terry is telling Sam why Tom isn't with them and his views on this, and
I
that is a
understand.
view of his. That
I
said
think
that
it
they're
would
both
work.
crazy.
It would be much clearer if this was a like an audio thing. But and I think the reason why we're bickering about it is because it's a written format and it's hard to sometimes get certain things if it's not properly clarified. But like again, I don't know. Like
That's my whole
I read
point.
that.
If you just put Tom said pushing his way through the
Okay,
screen door, that solves everything.
okay, and I agree with you. I just don't
Stop fighting
think
me.
it's necessary. I'm gonna fight you regardless. I'm gonna I'm gonna
Apparently.
fight you on it, but at the same time, I also agree with you because I can see your point, but I don't agree with it wholeheartedly. Like I can't like just I need to be my true self, man. Like, and I did not see a problem with it.
Way to roll a nat 20 on gymnastics to stay on that fence. Okay. So,
Try.
anyways, my last one.
Okay.
I don't know how long I lay there in my bed that night. It probably should have been laid.
Wait, what?
I don't know how long I lay there in my bed that night. The correction should have been it should have been laid probably because past tense.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
See, I agree with you on certain things. It's like, I had to put my foot down on the previous thing.
Disagreeing would be ridiculous.
Yes. Well, no, I'm sorry. Like, we just have a varying opinion on that one, on that one verse. Anyway, yeah, we're not talking about it anymore. We're done with that.
You sure?
Yes.
All right. We'll talk about it after recording.
Okay.
We won't. Please continue.
Okay. I guess with that out of the way for now, we will move on to. No, it has to be this.
Oh my god.
I'm doing that for joke.
Okay.
On to actual thoughts. So I'm just gonna start with this one here. Wait, I sat up. I thought the witch's house burned down. It did, Terry nodded. But there's still a few walls standing where it was. You'd at least know we were telling the truth about that. So, as someone who has had nearby burned out houses with local stories about it throughout my childhood, I kind of went into the story like this was one of the first kind of like positive or kind of one of the first like kind of buy-ins I had for the story was just this like whole again haunted burned out house sort of urban legend was sort of my buy-in for the story. And then we get on to this one here. I walked down the hall to my room, but kept the door cracked so I could try to listen to my mom's conversation. I couldn't hear much, but I could tell from her tone that she was agitated. After a couple of seconds, I decided it was none of my business and shut the door. I got dressed and headed back through the kitchen. Bye, Mom. Love you. Tell Dad I love him too. Okay, honey. She nodded, absently. Have a good day. You too. All right. So, based on what was going on in the story, and like we heard about the Mother Cleaver thing, and like what happens to people who lie and stuff like that, and cheat. As soon as I got to this part, I was like, "Oh God!" I got a strange feeling that the dad's dead, and then it doesn't go that feeling didn't go away because later in the story we get this. This is when they're at the house and Sam says that he'll be the bait. And he's like, "I'll do it." I said softly, "What?" The brothers stopped, turning to me in unison, and I was just like, "Oh no!" His mom's call. Dad may not be dead, but something tells me his mom's gonna be. But then, like, so like at this point in the story, because I've been like, I'm reading through this story and I'm getting this kind of this weird vibe of like this kind of like thing that you kind of like do if you read between if you kind of like if you're kind of genre savvy. It's like, oh, I know what's coming next, sort of thing. Like I'm like in my head, I'm subconsciously like guessing as to like what's going to transpire because of things that are happening in the story, like leading up. But then we get to this, like the end of the story, and we get this part here. While I was outside talking to them, my mom got another phone call. I learned later that the judge she worked for at the courthouse had been taking bribes. My mom had found out and had been trying to figure out what to do about it. Ultimately, she didn't have to decide because the judge was found murdered. Rumor was his head had been chopped off. And to this, I was just like, oh, Okay, that's way to subvert my expectation there. Because like I thought that like because of the story that we'd heard about how Mama Cleaver has worked in the past, like again with like the boys the two brothers' mom. I was worried that the phone call was like maybe the mom was cheating or the dad had been found doing something. So like they were going to find out that like either one of Sam's parents were going to end up getting killed in the end of the story. But then it threw me for a loop, and it turned out that like the phone call was actually about the mom's new boss and all that kind of stuff. So it like to me it kind of seemed to like subvert my expectation in a really interesting way. Kind of gave me a red herring at the end by the end of the story, which but not in like an annoying sort of way. I appreciated it. Next one here, Terry smiled tightly. Come on, Sam. And at this point, I was like, wow, we are, check page count, 6 pages in and finally get Sam's name. No, we do actually, like, now it comes in naturally in dialogue. However, I then realized after taking down this note, we technically get it in page 5 when Tom calls him Sammy Boy, but it was a nickname version, and I completely passed by it.
Oh, that's when I
Yeah.
first caught it.
Yeah. So but like still like 5 pages in, and we get the narrator's name, but it does come into play naturally. So I actually don't hate that we got it this late in the game, because it happened naturally in the narrative.
I guess. Although talks to his mom earlier, so like there could have been an opportunity for his mom to drop his name.
Yeah, for sure. Again, like there's always like room for improvement on like getting something in a little bit earlier. Because at this point, by the beginning of the story, I was like, all right, we got another Nair, and then I had to cross out Nair.
Yeah.
And then,
but as you said, it really wasn't a problem the way it was introduced.
And then my next sentence here, or the next part of the story I have to talk about. Not long after we found out she'd been cheating on him, one of our neighbors was found dead in his bed too. Both of their heads were chopped off. And I was just like, at this point, like when we get this like about the mom's death and stuff like that, I was just like, Jesus, why aren't we getting a story about the police force hunting down a serial killer? Like, that's what happens to people when they get killed in this town? Like, this is and to me, this is like, and I'm just as a side, Shadow Swimmer 77. This is a potential spin-off story you could have in this town. Just saying, about just like the investigation into these strange murders that have been going on around town. Like, have it like from the point of view of like the law enforcement that's trying to deal with this,
or the lack of an investigation, and why, and like with the main character being a police officer being like, why aren't we looking into this?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I can also, I wouldn't even consider this like a Derplin sort of situation, which immediately it kind of came to mind when I came up with when it got to the part with like the cost. And I was like, no, it kind of makes sense because like I'm sure they did investigate, but if it's like a supernatural being that doesn't like that they can't track down, like Old Mother Cleaver just like appears and reappears and like vanishes into the night. It's sort of gotta like how are you supposed to close that case? So like I could see like this not actually having a Derpland PD, but being like just like how do you expect us in reality to actually deal with this kind of thing? Like they died. We don't have any suspects. The one suspect we have, the husband of the one wife that got killed, he's got a clean alibi. Like, how do we deal with this? We just just chalk it up to the mystery file, I guess. Fuck.
I mean, if the kids could figure out where it's all coming from,
that's the thing.
Legend is already out there.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like, and like that would basically be the story. Like that would be what the antagonist or the protagonist of a story would do. But like again, in reality, like police officers aren't going to fucking believe a superstition thing.
I mean, if countless people are being murdered the exact same way, and you have zero leads, there's going to be a point.
A serial killer. Sorry.
There's going to be a point where the cops are going to go like, fuck it, we've tried every other avenue, let's actually investigate this. Or more people get murdered.
And again, I understand, like, yeah, people probably looked into it and stuff. But again, like, sometimes, again, like, look at Jack the Ripper. He was never found, despite, like, murdering tons of, like a bunch of people. There's tons of serial killers that have been, like, that have never gotten caught, even despite the cops' best efforts. Like,
Ripper was also way back in the day. Before
okay, well, to bring one that's closer to modern, the Zodiac Killer. That was in the 80s and 70s, I think. He left messages. He goaded the fucking the cops. Heck, I've listened to a dozen BuzzFeed Unsolved episodes about killers in the 80s and 70s and such, where they've got tangential suspects, but they can't, because of bureaucracy or because they don't have enough proof, they can't bring them in. Sort of situations, or mysterious murders like that where they have no leads whatsoever. These people just died in horrible, graphic, chopped up ways, and the police have been unable to find a killer for decades. I'm not saying you're wrong, because
for sure
you're absolutely right. Like, that would make a great story. Like, that would be like the spin-off story of of a cop trying to figure out these headless murders. Or I guess decapitation murders, because they're not technically headless. The heads are still there.
If the head's still there or not.
Yeah, I think it's that the heads are still there. It's just they've been chopped. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and also to kind of go off of like a spin-off story kind of idea, and this might be a little bit of a kitchen segment thing. I'm just kind of also imagining a true crime podcast, or like a BuzzFeed Unsolved like style sort of show, like online, looking into these mysterious strings of decapitations of redacted Pennsylvania, and maybe like finding like kind of like, again, stumbling into the mystery in themselves, like having some kind of outside group come in because they've heard about these slew of mysterious deaths and murders online. So they've decided to go into the town and investigate. And like basically they end up getting caught into the Mama Cleaver mystery. So I definitely was getting some inspiration from this story for like either spin-off stories or even like some game fodder. Weird.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, speaking of that, onto the next thing here. What about you? If you really believe Old Mother Cleaver killed your mom, how come you're so ready to go traipsing around her house? Terry's normally kind eyes grew hard. My mom wasn't perfect, but that doesn't mean she deserved to have her head chopped off. I need to see if the Cleaves is really real. If she is, she owes me. Tom and my dad too. And this is some good, like, this right here, this little like premise of like the reason why they're going out there is actually like because Terry wants to get some revenge on this creature, is some good Little Fears or Kids on Bikes game fodder. Like revenge plot of the local kids on either a mundane killer or a supernatural boogeyman in their hometown that's claimed claimed the life of a loved one. And the kid, again, like you see it in movies, like Darkness Falls came to mind when I was like Darkness Falls, The Goonies to a slightly lighter degree, or no, not The Goonies, Monster Squad to a lighter degree, or It. It's very I could definitely see this being used as fodder of like for a Kids on Bike style horror game, or because like you just have your players play as kids who one of their kids, either an NPC or one of the kids who the players are playing, had a loved one who was killed, and so the main premise, like you jump into the game, the main premise is your loved one has been killed by this supernatural thing. No one in town's doing anything about it, so you've decided to take matters into your own hands and deal with this monster to get revenge. Yeah, I was just like it to me it was oozing with ideas and inspiration. And then we have something that didn't quite break the camel's back for me on like believability, but I need to address it. So before us, the burned out remains of an old wooden house stood in a clearing. Only two of the exterior walls were still erect, and the roof was collapsed. The bare interior of the house totally exposed to the elements. The two of us stopped, just looking. In disbelief that a burned down wooden house that's, check previous comment, was 4 to 5 generations old is still remains out in the woods. I could understand if it was a house, if some part of the house was made of like stone, like some like old stone foundation sort of thing, because those things last for centuries. Heck, some of the aforementioned burned out houses that I know from my own childhood that have local stories, all that remained of them after like decades of being abandoned and burned out is like the stone foundation, or the chimney is all that's left erect. So yeah, just the fact that it was wood, because it kind of like threw me a little bit of disbelief on the story, because wood tends to decompose in the elements unmaintained, and especially if after a fire, because ash and charcoal is good fertilizer. So it wasn't a super deal breaker, but it was something that I wanted to address, because it could have been easily fixed if it had been said that it was stone walls instead of like wood.
Or just that there's no walls anymore, and it's just the foundation. Because at the end of the day, the walls don't do anything for the story.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They go down to a cellar, which I could also buy. Like that would still be there. So now that I've gotten all that out of the way, and I've gushed over the story with some ideas for fodder and stuff like that, let's just kind of let's talk about that night, the night of the confrontation. So I'm just gonna I got 3 quotes here and 3 comments regarding it. So, I love you, Mom, I said softly. I love you too, baby, she smiled. Sleep tight. I went to my room to change, brush my teeth, and put the bone on the nightstand. I eyed the dark spaces beneath the bed, forcibly willing myself not to look. Was the Cleaves already there, waiting for me to go to sleep? I moved to the open window and saw a light flash twice. The signal Tom and Terry were in position. Now all we needed was for me to fall asleep. Okay, so this is actually a slight positive thing here. I gotta say, the paragraphs leading up to the encounter, like to this night, like confrontation, like the from being in the house of the Cleaves and their plan, and then like waiting a day and leading up to him like going to bed. To me, it really oozed tension and anticipation as I was reading the story. Like, it was palpable while I was reading the story. It's like, what the fuck's going to happen? Like, it was just the weight of, waiting to find out what was going to happen was actual visceral for me while I was reading the story. So I do give the story props for building up that anticipation in me. Then we get here. I've been worried that with the fear and excitement, I wouldn't be able to nod off. But next thing I knew, I was startled awake when a heavy weight settled next to me on my mattress. Shh, it's okay, honey. It's okay. My mom shushed. I just wanted to check on you. Sorry, I was distracted tonight. You okay? You seemed a little off at dinner. My heart leapt into my throat before I confirmed that it was, in fact, my mother. It was dark in my room, but there was enough light streaming through the window from the moon that I could tell it was her. Certainly not an enraged witch ready to chop off my head. Sam, shame on you. Shame on you. Really? You know it's not your mom. You gotta, remember the story that you were told. And,
Well,
damn
Story
it.
doesn't say anything about her changing her looks.
It changes. It says that she uses spells to change her voice, which, yeah, sure, but it doesn't say straight up that she glamours herself to look like somebody else. But maybe that's just what she does as well. We don't know.
Based on what he knows, it's just a voice thing, and he's also a kid.
That's fair. But I'm going to move on to the next comment here. She sat there for several long minutes, softly caressing my head. My breathing slowed, and it wasn't until I was again on the verge of sleep that she finally stood up to leave. Sam? Her voice sounded far away. What's this on your nightstand? Sorry, Mom, I breathed. It's to help Tom and Terry. That's my good boy. She bent over and kissed me on my forehead. And then he woke up, and then he like immediately got up afterward and realized that it was, Mama Cleaves probably. So like as I was reading this through, and I was like, God damn it, Sam, you know this is not. And then it's like, actually, I can't exactly be mad at Sam here because the witch kind of does have a solid tactic. Even if the story that he heard was just that she glamours up her voice to sound like somebody loved one. But I mean, she's a witch, so she could have glamours to do up her to just straight up look like somebody that the person knows. That it just kind of like throws off your throws off the victim that much harder, especially, and it basically throws their whole plan out of whack because like their whole plan was to wait at night, like after taking a bone piece, wait for Mama Cleaver to show up. They know that she's going to glamour herself at some point, either through voice or as like maybe her whole form. But then the tactic here from the witch's point of view, like the advantage the witch has here is honestly doubt. Because what happens if you do get woken up and it's your mom there? And do you just straight up try and accuse your mom of being the witch it's like, what if that is your real loved one, like your mom there, and not this witch? And so you're suddenly like being made the fool because you're adding all these inquisitorial questions to what you hope is a witch, but it could be your mom. You're not 100% sure. It's just like I really liked the ploy here. It's like that had their whole plan kind of come crashing down because. Do you assume that the mother is there, or do you assume that it's the witch when you get woken up in the middle of the night? Again, as a kid, who were like parents tend to come into your bedrooms at night to check, make sure you're okay. Yeah, like this whole like part of the confrontation, I just kind of really liked the witch's I like the whole idea of the witch and her tactics here. I kind of feel like I could definitely stat her as a fun monster in Little Fears or Kids on Bikes or something like that, and have fun with this kind of like, what do you trust? Like all right, so you have this ploy, you wake up and it's your dad, who's checking up on you to make sure you're okay in the middle of the night because you were acting strange earlier. Rolled judge intent or something like of that matter to see if this is in fact your dad or your loved one and not a witch trying to trick you, sort of thing. And depending
that
on
would give it away that it's potentially the witch.
Or okay, so you basically wait for the player to do that if they do like if they. That's the thing. I also I guess it is something that I've come across as a GM in games as well. Is like, how do you not spoil that like you might be dealing with a witch or not?
It's in the player's hands. If the player knows that they are investigating a witch, it is up to the player to question whether or not this is the witch or not. If they forget to question it, then that's just like their character forgetting to question it.
That's true. It's like Sam here.
It's like if I'm playing some game and I forget to reload or something, or if I dropped my weapon because that was a free action and then I didn't pick it up, it's gone. And there needs to be consequences for the player not doing what they should be remembering to do. Yeah.
No, I agree. I need to remember to do that more in games. But yeah, like in this case, like again, this is that ploy. It's like Sam forgot to ask his GM. Mm-hmm. Can he roll judge intent if this is his mother or not?
Yep. Basically, forgetting to ask that is player automatically failing.
Yeah, but again, like in this story, like I can't really be mad because the monster or this creature does have some kind of spells in her repertoire to mimic for mimicry. So Sam's like a little kid, like doing this ploy. It makes sense that he would be forgetful, or like that even like despite like all their stuff, he's half asleep doing this. So like half asleep kids aren't really fully cognizant of what they're doing. So, and not until it's too late.
What's the plan again?
So their plan was exactly what happened so like they take the bone to lure Mama Cleaver here, and then when she shows up, I think it was for
Sam was
Sam
gonna
to
ask.
ask her about why she killed Troy, why she actually killed the mom, or like try and get some answers for like why she's doing this sort of thing. Like because like again, or like maybe like just to kind of like try and guilt the witch, maybe like because that's what it seemed like. I don't think they were. It didn't sound like they were trying to attack her. They just wanted to know why the fuck you're doing this. Like my mom wasn't perfect, but she didn't deserve to get her fucking head cut off, sort of thing. Yeah, I think it's just like again, it was an ill-conceived plan. I'm kind of on Team Tom.
Like a plan considered by kids.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Like it plays out very. Again, this is why like I got through this part. I was like, I got you, idiot. No, I can't be mad at you. You're just a kid, and this is actually a pretty decent tactic this witch has going on. Yeah, I don't know. I was very like, I was inspired, and also like muddling through this, just like the best plans, the best conceived plans fall flat when in the face of the player, and it just turns out the witch was actually the player the whole time, and the kids were the GM. But I digress. I'm actually going to finish off my actual thoughts with the last part of the story, which has to do with the finger bone. Because I've still got the finger bone. Why she took Tom and Terry's all those years ago and left mine, I can't fathom. But if the night comes that old Mother Cleaver sneaks out from under my bed and asks me about my sins, ready to deliver her unique brand of justice, I want to be sure I answer honestly. So I got to this part, I was like, okay, because like I was like wondering, like leading up to this, like, all right, we didn't hear anything about the finger bone. And then it came up right at the end here as like, okay, he has the finger bone still. For some reason, the witch didn't take it. That's a plot point, not a plot hole.
Yeah.
Also, I really like how it kind of came full circle with the whole "this is a true story" trope. Because at the beginning, you're like, oh, this is a true story. Okay, sure, it's a true story. Sure, bud. And then it gets to the end here, it's like, that's why I'm saying this is a true story, because I'm trying to be as honest as possible.
Unless he's lying the entire time.
I mean, obviously, okay, out of story, this is complete fiction. But in fiction, in fiction, this is we're meant to like believe that this is all been true because of what we just read about Mother Cleaver and her actions. So he and the lesson he learned from his encounter with Mother Cleaver is to always be truthful. So he's told this story with no embellishments and as a true story. And so I like how it takes that trope of this is a true story, believe me guys, and gives us a reason for that trope by the end. Like it actually creates a narrative device that is interesting out of that trope. Again, by the end of the story, I was like the reason I think I didn't have a whole lot of issue with any of the flaws that we've come up with in the story is just because to me it was a damn good read. Fuck. Now I'm sure you guys got some problems with it. So let's just kind of go to those. I've said
Before
my
you
piece.
do that,
Uh-oh.
What's your stance on the reasoning as to why he still has the finger bone?
I don't know. I didn't actually think of that.
The only thing I can consider right now is because he took the finger bone for like an honest and very good reason, she didn't bother taking it back. He wasn't just taking it for the sake of taking it. There was like heart in it. Yeah,
it's selfless. Yeah, that's the way. Like the witch in this, like she's a monster, but she's not a bad monster. Like it also like I think this also kind of emphasizes that this story uses the seed prompt, like the writing prompt, very well of justice. Because this is basically
sides.
Yeah.
Because it's the witch and the Tim and Tom, as I incorrectly call
them. Yeah. Tom
they
and
also want
Terry kids.
Yeah. That's what I first saw when I read that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I just clued in. It's like, oh yeah, Tom and Terry kind of sounds like Tom and Jerry. Damn it!
Yep.
Damn it! But yeah, no, like it like we got like the finger bone is a plot point. The true story thing was actually a really good plot point, and the justice as the overall like kind of like writing prompt is a good prompt for this, or like it uses it well. Yeah, I agree with you actually, gamer. The finger bone. I think it's basically like, all right, you are, like you've been a very good boy. You can keep it because I'm watching you just to make sure you don't slip up, or to make or maybe just like, yeah, like it's like, but like basically it's sort of the thing that happens in movies or in like in narratives where like somebody does something bad, but they did it for the good intentions, so the monster gives them a pass.
Yeah.
But like with kind of a warning of like, don't fuck up, but I'll give you a pass because you were so honest and so you were so selfless in your actions that you've touched me. Yeah, no, I love that idea. I'm on that 100%.
While we're
But
here, do
again,
you have any ideas on this, Mikey?
yeah,
Well, I believe that she is part of the supernatural task force.
Of course,
there
as she
it
should be.
is. Yep.
Well,
The justice department.
Mhm.
yeah. Well, and the reason why old Mother Cleaver killed the mom was because of cheating.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no, she
it's
goes after.
clear.
Yeah.
She goes after people that lie to her. So obviously, she visited the mom and the guy that she was cheating with, and they denied that they were cheating, so they died.
Yep.
Mhm.
And
And
yeah, probably what happened with the judge. A similar thing happened to the judge.
Mhm.
and back at SNTF HQ, Mother Cleaver is like a living quote unquote um, lie detector, basically, for the
Yeah.
bureau there.
Oh god. Also, I had a horrible idea. Mother Cleaver is HR.
Yeah.
So let me tell you. So we're going over your books. This is a performance review. Please answer honestly. Please answer honestly.
She sets a cleaver on the table.
Yeah, exactly. No, the cleaver's just there. Like instead of like a pen, like on like a little mount, there's a cleaver on the desk.
Mm-hmm.
God, that would be so like threatening. But yeah, no, basically, she's the lie detector for the SNTF. Like when they bring somebody into the interrogation room, they just bring her in.
Yeah.
It's like she walks out, she's like got like a splash of blood. It's like he lied. And walked away.
But now we
walks
can't
away.
find out the truth. What are you doing?
No, because then the SNTF goes in, binds the soul of the person.
Oh yeah, that works.
Yeah, the room is warded so that spirits can escape. So yeah, that's how they do it. It's like, oh, so you fucked up, buddy. You're now a damned soul. So would you like to confess your sins now?
You want to tell us now what we wanted to know, so we can send you up to heaven, or are you going to go down to hell forever?
Yeah. And by hell we mean, a little like a warehouse that never ends.
Mm-hmm.
That we just sentence all the damn souls to. No, I like that idea. I'm taking notes for an SNTF game again. Thanks, guys.
It's warehouse H311.
Ah, took
Would
a
it be
second.
7-7?
Yep.
Would it be 7-7 or 1-1?
Oh no, it's 43. It's 4311.
Is 4H?
4. I think generally 4 is used as an H when using like
It's
numbers.
upside down, yeah.
Yeah.
What was that, Mikey? Is that A?
Yeah.
That's
you can
what
also
I
just
thought.
have warehouse 666.
That's too cliche. Ha!
Ah. All right. Anyway,
So isn't this the second story in a row where cliche has been used?
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure it was last week as well. At least the
Okay.
word was dropped once. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't hate that idea either. However, not using the SNTF and our own headcanons for a story, I do think that it's honestly actually what I like. I think what my take is like, yeah, she's basically like a vigilante, like a supernatural vigilante of justice. You're obstructing justice. You're breaking the law.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely on the idea of that she's basically just like gave him a pass because he was so truthful and honest and selfless. Kind of gave him a memento. Like I actually like the idea that like she's never going to go after him because of of how selfless he was. So,
Yeah.
but she gave him a memento of like just to remember her by, sort of thing. Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, Mikey, he stands for evil.
All right. Well,
Wow, what was that long sigh for there? Have I been um too in favor of this story?
no. I just some of my notes are slightly in the realm of Grammar Inquisition, but not really.
Oh, okay. So you get the
Um,
nitpick nook this year, or this week.
the whole
The
year.
entire year. Yeah.
Yep.
Lease agreement for an entire year for the Nook.
All right. So the quote here: some very real, very important things, have avoided making the digital leap. Things like old Mother Cleaver, my mom, and I moved.
Sorry. Fuck. Oh, Mother Cleaver, my mom. The
Wow.
twist.
What a twist!
With a twist. Yeah. God damn.
Yeah, that wording.
That would be really awesome, actually, if it turned out that old Mother Cleaver was Sam the whole time, or Sam's mom the whole time.
And the next thing here is I have a little bit of whiplash.
Oh.
So just think of It's a Wonderful Life, and that will give you a pretty good idea. It was summer when we arrived.
Yeah.
It's a Wonderful Life happens in winter.
But it's not about. I understand.
Metaphorical.
I understand you evil son of a bitch. Like it's perhaps a poor choice of medium or media, a Christmas movie to describe a summertime event, but it's the town, the picturesque rustic town in It's a Wonderful Life, not the wintertime season. But yeah. Yep. Keep going.
So I got two quotes in this next one. They were Irish twins, Terry being my age and Tom slightly older. The two of them had lived there since they'd been born, so they're not Irish.
No. Okay.
What?
Their family is Irish, Mikey. The E stands for truly evil. Jesus.
Wow.
Like, you pedantic
Full-blown
motherfucker.
American.
yeah, Irish American. You can be. I'm Italian, and I'm also
Yeah.
Canadian.
Yeah, but you don't speak with an Italian accent.
No, but I still
Do
consider
they?
myself Italian. I look Italian.
Well, I
We're
don't.
from a country that both of them are from countries like Canada, or like either us in Canada or them in America. Both North America is a land of immigration, known for its land for its immigration.
It doesn't even say in the story that Tim and Tony speak with a.
I'm not actually angry or anything. Just to clarify.
I
God
know.
damn it.
Really, does it say that Tim and Tony freaking speak with an accent, or just that they're Irish?
No, just that they're Irish, even though they're born and raised in America.
because they are of Irish descent.
Yes. Yeah, not me off my soapbox about you being too pedantic aside. It's like, yeah, it's like, because, yeah, okay.
Would you prefer if it
Alright.
said Irish American?
Or am I Irish American
Well,
brothers?
I prefer if they said of Irish descent. Would fix that.
It's
Like,
the same thing, but okay.
well,
Like, I get this is pedantic. Like, this is very like semantics.
we already talked about Tom and Jerry.
Yep.
All right. All right. So I have a quote here, and it triggered me. I'm gonna say it.
Oh no.
It's you know those old annoying emojis.
We're gonna need some more context.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I guess on like the old chat systems like Yahoo Messenger and stuff like that, they had emojis that you could put that were loud and obnoxious.
Sure.
So the one that came to mind was, "Oh my God, no way!"
Okay.
And it's for this quote here, which is, "His great great grandmother was the mayor's wife who died." No way!
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Random, but okay. No
Interesting.
way!
Oh my God! No way! Now that you've like said it, like I did click immediately. Like, oh yeah, I immediately recognized that from like Skype.
yeah, those old emojis that nobody uses anymore.
Yeah, because we found other emojis, ones that don't talk.
Yeah. And my next thought here, which I believe you've already answered, cultist, is basically how are these kids so stupid? They know that their mother was cheating, which is likely the reason why old Mother Cleaver killed their mom,
Yeah,
but they still want to know why?
they want to know. So, well, there's a couple of things here.
But
Okay, actually,
yeah,
no. You continue with your thought because, like, I don't want to steamroll over all your comments.
yeah. Well, and you've already brought up the point that they want to get some kind of revenge against the death of their mother, because even though their mother was cheating, it was still their mom, right?
Yeah.
So
I think what it is they want to get closure. Like, it's grievance and closure because like their mom was murdered, and they know who they kind of know who the murderer was. So they're basically they're they're still grieving after 2 years.
I think they know. Like, even
They
if
think
the
they know,
witch is
yeah.
just like they would be happy, quote unquote, even if the witch just went like, "Yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
See ya," and just walks away. Like,
Like
just so
that,
like, okay, yes, the witch did kill our mother. Okay, we can move
yeah,
on.
like yeah, exactly. Like I think like they really just want to know like and or like if I was to take this like in the story conference, yeah, they just want to find out like why she did like and just to basically get proof of like yeah, I killed your mom because she was cheating. She was being untruthful and unjust. That's why I killed her. It's kind of my thing. Goodbye,
Mhm.
kid. As game fodder, it would straight up just be like we're gonna just do some Home Alone shit and just like ruin this, try and ruin this witch's day when she comes in for the bait. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, no, I think for the story itself, it's really just like a closure for the kids.
okay,
Which is also
yeah,
why I was so fucking worried when like the mom's on the phone and like sounding agitated, and then like because it was leading up to that, I was like, oh fuck. That's what I was trying to get at earlier. It was just like, oh god, like with that whole set of like lines and comments and stuff like that. It's just like, oh god, is history about to repeat itself?
yeah. Well, and I was beginning to wonder, uh, leading my next actual thought of if old Mother Cleaver was going to take out Sam's mom.
Yeah.
And my quote here is, I stooped over to give her a hug and abruptly felt tears spring to my eyes as I realized this could be the last time I saw her. What the hell had I been thinking earlier? And it's like, well,
Yeah.
if the kid is crying and visibly distraught, the mom didn't notice this?
She probably noticed it, but probably again, she does. She apparently had the whole like embezzlement thing on her mind, or the bribery thing on her mind, as well. So they were both basically kind of in their own headspaces, like their own little weird headspaces. So I can let that pass. But yeah, like otherwise, yeah, if the kid just starts like tearing up, and this is again like you bring it up, like this quote here is also like one of those the ones from that point in the story where I was like where the anticipation of what was about to happen was like really kind of dropping dropping its weight on me of like, oh, fuck, this is getting like it's like what the fuck's gonna happen next?
It's entirely possible that it actually was his mother that sat down next to him, said all that, and then she walked up and walked away. And then from the point when she's like, Sam, what's this bone? That is the witch showing up after the mother left. Because he never saw her there either.
Yeah, she was from far away, and there was a long... Fuck! Holy So
I think that's when she actually showed up.
I just got chills from that. Holy shit!
Which would have gave his mother a couple of minutes more time to get back to sleep.
Holy shit! Yeah, and like, yeah, because it does say like there was a long pause before the mom asks about the bone, and she was farther away. So like, and in sleep, when you're half asleep, you like time kind of like is wonky. Like you think it's a couple of seconds, but it's actually been like a half hour.
Yeah, and the odds are, fucking lights off. How would she see the bone?
Yeah, exactly. Holy fuck! I just got chills when I realized that that came to me, or like, holy shit! That is yes, 100%. That's now
yes.
that's my headcanon for what happened in that night. I'm ashamed that I didn't clue in until this point, like, because it also maintains like she still just uses her the voice mimicry. She doesn't completely glamour herself as the loved one.
Mm-hmm. She just picks a time to show up when you're not looking.
Fuck. And what's perfect also is like that's how she found out about the judge. Is she probably like she
heard
talked
about it?
like, yeah, she probably
hiding
overheard
under the
about
freaking
that.
bed.
Yeah, exactly. God fucking damn it, that's so good.
You're welcome.
Holy shit. And it's from Gamer, not Mikey.
Yeah, it's from the idiot. Whoa.
It's from the layman. No, I'm kidding. I love you, buddy.
I'm sure.
Fuck.
It still happened in my actual thoughts section, so I'm going to take credit.
Okay.
You know what?
Go
Yeah,
halfsies
okay.
on it.
Yeah, you guys can go halvesies on this. Fuck. All right. Yeah. No. I'll keep going. I'll just sit here cross-legged, listen to you guys for the rest of this.
All right. So,
Sorry. Mind blown. Okay. So
now, there is also the theory that Sam's mom was cheating with the judge, but she was feeling guilty about it.
and so she told maybe Mother Cleaver went to her room. Like maybe actually it started in maybe Mother Cleaver was hiding under her bed first, and then said and then asked her sins. She answered truthfully because she was like she's a truthful person, and her mom and it is saying in the story that like his mom has always tried to make her raise him truthful. So she basically like maybe she came to her came to her mom.
Which went to the mother's room.
Yes, and then the mother chalked that up to a dream, to like a guilt dream kind of thing. Decided to go check up on her kid. Went and had a conversation with her son about the night, about what was going on, and then when she left, the witch had slipped into the room at that point, and then asked Sam about his sins.
Mhm.
That fuck.
And the reason that the mother didn't die is because she was honest and the judge was not.
This is such an I love this witch. God, she's so cool.
And I guess that would imply that I gotta think of two new T names. Fuck it.
Troy and Trevor.
The twins. I can't even remember their actual names anymore.
It's Tom and Terry.
I wrote Tim at the start too. Why did I do that?
It's okay.
Terry.
Remember a couple of weeks ago I completely screwed up somebody's name. I think it was the laser tag game.
Yeah.
The laser tag story.
Either way.
Yeah.
Either way. Tom and Terry.
Yeah.
I'm assuming their mother lied. And the person that they were sleeping with lied as well, hence the double death.
Yeah, I'm guessing that like Mother Terry or Mother Cleaver.
Wow, we're all fucking up names now. Good.
I'm guessing that Mother Cleaver mimicked her voice to sound like Terry's dad. And then when he again, because like that would have been like no we haven't done anything, chop. And then same thing happened probably to the neighbor's wife probably or something happened.
Yeah,
is my guess. But yeah, no, fuck, that is so. God, I love this creature. This like its motive, its operation and tactics and shit is so good. I can't. I'm ashamed I didn't catch it on my first read through.
that's good. That means we got it on recording, which makes it even better.
Yes, exactly. Know my shame, internet. Know my shame. Also, my reaction.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yes. Please continue, Mikey.
So my next actual thought here. The world I grew up in was different, more isolated. If a judge mysteriously had his head cut off today, it would be making headlines the world over. But that was then. And thinking about it, the local headline would probably just be the judge found dead, because the police would keep the method of death under wraps, because that way when they're interrogating people they would know the method of how he died.
True. Back then, like some rumors would pop up because like if it's a small town like that, people would be everybody knows everybody kind of thing. Like you're letting kids roam around town unattended during the summer. It's got to be a small enough town that like that's fine.
Especially if the town already has a history of decapitations. They'll be like, oh, it's probably a decapitation again. That's normal.
Yeah, it's like, oh.
So how was your week?
Yeah.
So Mama Cleaver's been out again. I guess Frank Buster was being unfaithful again. Caught up to him this time. We all knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who here hasn't slept with him? No one raises their hand. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the end of my actual thoughts.
Okay. So, Gamer.
My turn. I don't think I crossed off any of these. Granted, I only have 4.
Cool.
So first one, just based on the title itself, based on the name Mama Cleaver, what if she's like Mrs. Cleaver, who got like fed up with the beaver always lying, being a sack of shit? So then
hang on.
Like a dark timeline of like Leave It to Cleaver.
Holy, hang on. Is that their actual what's their last name?
Cleaver.
I don't know.
No,
Cleaver. Yeah.
Beavis Cleaver? Wait, their actual last name is Cleaver?
I think so.
Oh.
I think you're right. Hang on, I gotta look this up.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm having.
Yeah, it's Beaver
I'm
Cleaver.
having Oh my god!
Yeah.
Holy shit! Wow. Is it spelled? Yeah, it's even spelled Cleaver.
It's straight Cleaver. Yeah.
It's straight up. It's straight up Mrs. Cleaver.
Mm-hmm.
It's June Cleaver. We know. Oh shit! This is actually a dark timeline of.
Yeah. Leave It to Beaver.
Because that took place in 1957. And if this is in the 80s, that's about 30. That's about 30 years. So that's about 3 generations.
Pretty on point.
Holy shit! Shadow Swimmer, please confirm if you listen to this. Were
Is
you
this in
inspired
fact
by?
Leave It to Cleaver?
Is this in fact? Yeah, is this in fact a dark timeline to Leave It to Beaver? Fuck.
It is now. At
That's
least in my
my
headcanon.
headcanon. Shit. I'm getting mind blown like right off the bat. Like my head's just like bouncing around.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh god,
The
this is
next
why
one.
this is why I love talking about these stories during these episodes. Is like I get these crazy things that I did not notice while reading the story.
Yeah, because when we read a story, we read it and we see it down one specific path, but we're all viewing it from different angles.
Yeah, we're
When
all
you
doing
hear
it from different opinions.
someone else's angle, you sometimes get a different thought that neither of you had just based on the other angle.
Yeah, for better or worse, we all have different opinions.
Most of the time it's worse, but that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. The bickering is worth the gold that we find.
Sure it is. So my next one, small town living, but this is talking about the place that they're moved to and all that.
I need to hang on. I'm gonna let you finish, but I need to know now. Is Leave It to Beaver take place in Pennsylvania? A town in Pennsylvania. The town Mayfield. In I'm not seeing where it's supposed. So it takes place in the town of Mayfield. I'm not seeing what state it's in. What town and state was Leave It to Beaver set in?
The Cleavers live in a fictional town of Mayfield.
Yeah, they live in a fictional town, but like, where, is there a state that that town's supposed to be in, or is it just America? Hang on. I know this is stupid, but I need to know.
Ohio?
It might be. Oh, I think that's from an article in Ohio. Hang on. Where is Mayfield?
Well, I got this from what state is Mayfield?
Oh, okay.
Leave It to Beaver, and it says Ohio.
Apparently, it's according to the cheatsheet.com under TV. Leave It to Beaver. Where did the Cleaver family live? The Chicago suburb sits just a few miles away from the Lake Michigan shores, so it's possible the water references in Leave It to Beaver were referencing a lake instead of an ocean or a gulf. Mayfield, Ohio, is about 20 miles from Lake Erie, but several hundred miles from the ocean. So yeah, it's probably Ohio, because I think the Chicago thing is where it was shot. Maybe, I don't know. So yeah, Ohio's probably closer to it is.
Sure.
Wow. Sorry, I had to know. I had to look that up to see if it was in Mayfield, Pennsylvania, because it was like, we caught it, we found it, we found the connection.
Yeah. And the Beaver's actual character's name is Theodore, so he's a Theo, so he's a T word as a child's name, kind of like Tammy and
Tammy and the T-Rex.
Yeah, Tammy the T-Rex. Yeah.
Oh god. I'm just gonna have like around your head are just gonna be like different T names, just like on the title card.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so.
God. We hope you enjoyed this, listeners.
I hope so. So, talking about the town that they moved to. Small town living, but close enough to a big city that you could catch a flight if the itch to travel caught you. So, catch a flight? That's not close at all. I was expecting like maybe a 30-minute drive into town.
No, that's I think what it means is that like you catch a flight in Pittsburgh to go to travel. Like it's not like they're close enough to Pittsburgh that they could go to an airport to travel if they wanted to.
Oh, I thought it meant you would need to catch a flight to get to the nearest big city.
No. It's they move close enough to a big city where there's an airport to travel if they want to. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's close enough that you could drive to, was it Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah, it's close enough that it's within driving distance of Pittsburgh, so then they can get on a plane in Pittsburgh and go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, that was not very clear.
Apparently.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. Moving on. Tom was gregarious. I'm like, okay, I have to look this word up. It's awesome.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you've never heard of gregarious. Okay.
I've never heard gregarious before. It just means fond of company and sociable. I learned a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yay! We're learning.
And
We're learning. Whoa!
My next D&D character will be Greg the Gregarious.
Greg the gregarious troll.
Yep. Gonna be brother to
Gerald.
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 Yes.
I love how we're just throwing something that no one's going to get unless they go check out our sister podcast, One Less Die, a Shadowrun and gaming actual play podcast.
See what I did there? I gave you an opportunity to get a nice smooth segue.
Yeah.
That plug.
Smooth like chunky peanut butter.
There you go. Either way, my last one. In the long whispered exposition. Okay, sorry. I was reading it like I was reading the quote. This is not a quote, even though I put it in quotes. So goddamn, why did I fuck this? This notes. This notes that I do.
It's been a bit of a rough talk.
A little bit, regardless.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is happening during the long whispered exposition dump about him. Fucking, his name isn't Tim. Why do I keep putting Tim everywhere? Harry. Fuck. Everywhere in my notes it says Tim.
It's just all your notes is just Tim.
His name isn't Tim. Okay,
all right,
fine.
So your character. So the title card is going to show you with just a huge like piece of scroll of paper that just has Tim, and then like tons of other T names all around you, just floating around your head.
Yeah. God damn it. Okay, whatever. So this is happening during a long whispered exposition dump, where Terry is saying that he and his brother think the Cleaves killed their mother while the three of them are walking.
Yep.
And this goes on for a while, of saying all this specific information, but they're whispering it like they don't want Tom to hear it. He's right there, and they're talking for like 5 minutes. At what point is Tom going to notice them? Yeah. At one point is Tom going to notice them having this like 5-minute whispered conversation?
Yeah, just like so yeah, just like don't let Tom know. It's like Tom's just like 5 feet away. like
I'm right here.
Guys, I'm right here. Stop talking like I'm like 15 yards away.
Like I can see that you guys are whispering.
Yeah, they're just like I'm just picturing like they're just conspiratorially like hunched over while they're walking.
Yeah, of course. They're not subtle about it. They're kids.
I mean, yeah, they're kids, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the end of my notes.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have too many, and they were pretty quick.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we got some mileage out of the cleavers. The leave it to Cleaver. Oh god, that's fucking so good. Anyway, so
when they're at the SNTF headquarters, back there for a moment, and they bring someone in, they're like, "Okay, how should we interrogate this person? Leave it to Cleaver." Yeah, okay.
Yes,
I'll call her.
Yes, that's the code word to bring Mama Cleaver in. Leave it to Cleaver. All right, so on to final thoughts.
Can I be in black and white with the title card?
Yes,
even though it's making me not yellow.
Yes, I will draw you. I will color you up yellow, and then take your character and just grayscale it.
No,
so that it's yellow on the inside.
Okay, that's fine. That's acceptable.
Yeah, because I mean that's how basically I'd be like it's like filming you in black and white. The yellow would just become like a grayscale.
Yes.
So anyway, on to final thoughts. And much to everyone's surprise, I loved this story. I honestly didn't have a whole lot problem with the story. Like I didn't even have any quotes or like comments about the story until like 5 pages in. I just read the story and like was loving it. And I was like, oh god, this is gonna be. I don't know how long this episode's gonna be. It's like this is working out pretty well so far. And then like I drew a lot of inspiration from this story. Like I could draw a lot of inspiration for this story for gaming material. Like I want to run a Kids on Bikes Little Fears style game where it's a revenge plot against a monster that's killed one of the players or one of the players' friends, like loved one, like mother or dad or something like that. And maybe they find out that it's like, yeah, they go out to the haunted place, like the haunted house kind of place. They find the whole thing, but nothing comes of it. But it's only because what they find in the basement is an old videotape of Leave It to Beaver. And so we got that creepypasta angle if it's a haunted videotape. Like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe something like that. I honestly wasn't expecting. Yeah. That's maybe. I wasn't expecting either of Sam's parents to make it through the story. So I really and just given the circumstances that were kind of popping up in the story and the trend of that the story was kind of presenting, it honestly caught me with a really cool red herring. I love the tactic of this witch. I love this witch. This witch is cool and awesome as a vigilante. Yeah, she's killing people, like, and that kind of sucks. Based on like who they are and stuff like that, but she's doing it in a sort of twisted justice and as a concept for a creature or for for a boogeyman character. That's actually really cool because it makes her sympathetic, as much as because again, she was done dirty before. Like she was treated poorly by the people when she was alive. They burned down her house and they killed her son accidentally, and so she took revenge. Like hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, or like a mother.
I don't know if I would say that's accidental. Whether she was there, in the house
incidental.
or not. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not accidental.
We're going to be killing that kid regardless.
Yeah, exactly. And it just happened that like she was out. She was. Notice how the story says that she was out in the woods grieving from the loss of the mother as well, or like of the mayor's wife as well. Like she was distraught by that she died. So she wandered off she was wandering around in the woods, like trying to figure out what went wrong and such. And then the townsfolk decided to take it out on her and burn down her house and killed her kid by incidentally.
Yeah. So she had guilt
of course she's gonna
from being a doctor and their patient dying, and then also survivor's guilt of like she got to survive, but her freaking kid got killed.
Yeah, exactly. She
had a really bad time.
Yeah, no, and it's again like the story kind of has a root in like the legend itself, even if it's fabricated or it was created by Shadow Swimmer. I feel like they've pulled that root, that very deep seated root of Americana witch lore, where like generally witches that were subjugated and like persecuted in New England and such, in the early days. Were just healers. Like they were just like kind of like people who knew like the right kinds of herbs to be used in certain things. So, and they lived out in the woods, and because they were kind of like hermitish, they were kind of chastised by the larger community nearby for being like Satanist and evil. But they were really just like healers that tried to help.
Yep. One time you use like a root that a freaking raccoon peed on, and it kills someone. And then all of a sudden you're evil.
Yeah, exactly. Suddenly you cursed that person to die. You gave them a death curse. And yeah, it's that's part of the tragedy of this kind of folkloric aspect or inspiration or ideal when it comes to this kind of creature. So again, stacking on to the kind of the tragedy and sympatheticness to the monster itself. No, I really loved it. I recommend. Again, it's got problems. But like, what story doesn't have problems? And honestly, the ones that we kind of brought up, I feel personally, were minor. Like they should be fixed, but it doesn't ruin the story. So I will recommend this story. Mikey, D stands for evil.
All right. Well, I need to start my final thought with something that I just learned.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
Just now?
Yes.
While you were blabbering on, cultist, I was doing some research and I found something.
Yes. Basically, my whole issue with them being Irish twins
Okay.
is wrong because apparently Irish twin means that a pair of siblings born less than 12 months apart.
Oh, it doesn't mean they're
it's
Irish
actually,
at all.
Yeah.
so it's actually a term. Get fucked.
Mhm.
We all got fucked because we
Yeah,
all read
we
this
did. We
story
all
assuming they
went
were Irish.
we all went the race card. Fuck. Fuck. Yeah.
We learned another thing.
Yeah.
More,
Yeah.
more than just. So he's gregarious and also an Irish twin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that from taking a quick look at the comments for this story.
Somebody else comment about that.
Well, they commented, "Damn good story. I'm just 355 days older than my brother, so we're Irish twins too." I was like, "What?"
Oh, okay. It's weird,
Oh.
like how like you go like your whole life not knowing something, and then like finding out, it's like, how the hell did I not know about this earlier?
How would we know?
I mean, I feel like it should have popped up somewhere in my lexicon or in pop culture or something.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you happen to know twins who identify themselves as Irish twins. Or
Yeah.
it might be just a term that's not used up here.
Maybe, yeah. Thank you, Mikey, for laying down that correction right at the end.
All right. So continuing on to my final thoughts.
Yes.
So I didn't care for the whole cliche "this story is true" thing. And when I read it, I didn't get that zinger at the end that it has to be true because if I'm not truthful, old Mother Cleaver is going to get me.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's just like the reason, like they gave a reason at the end of the story for why they said this is a true story, and it's because
Just said that.
yeah, no, the way he's saying it's like it was more of like, no, it has to be true because otherwise Mother Cleaver will get me. Like that's an excuse,
That's
not
also
a reason.
true.
It's an excuse more than a reason.
Yeah. Anyway, overall, it was an enjoyable read because you sort of expect the mother or the father to die because of what happened to Tom and Jerry's mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom and Tim, actually.
You said Tom and Jerry.
God.
It took me a second. I just realized you said Tom and Jerry. Fuck.
Idiot. It's Tom and Tim. You should know this by now.
So, overall, I'm going to give it a recommendation on the higher end.
Okay.
So,
and on to
Is
Gamer.
that a recommendation plus or just a recommendation? I'm very confused.
it's just a recommendation. If I was going to say partial recommendation, it'd be it's sort of
Yeah, partials get the fractional like plus or minuses on them. I don't know if recommendations do.
Yeah, I feel like
on.
if you just recommend it, like it's a positive. You recommend it. Like I feel like by saying like I was actually expecting you to say partial recommendation when you said partial recommendation on the high end. It was like, wait, he didn't say partial. Why the hell is wait? You're trying to get a one up on me, aren't you? I said I recommend it. Oh, I recommend it plus.
I recommend it better than you did.
Yeah.
Fine. Revise it to partial recommendation plus.
Wow, you monster. Gamer, you're up.
Well, personally, I'll recommend it. I really liked reading this one. Honestly, it's
yeah.
What? We laughed at. Did I not like things?
There was a pause. No, Gamer. There was a pause, and I was like, I'm done. Like, I liked it.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Like, no, like, yeah, case closed.
We're not going to be that short. However, yeah, I really liked it. It's subtle and plausible, like the things that are happening. How, like, basically, if there is a witch, she hides herself as the kid's mother so well that you can't even tell if that is visually her or sneakiness
Or
that
like how
I suggested.
Yeah, like how you suggested, which blew my mind completely.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was a double fake. It was a double fake out.
Which I think is excellent.
Yeah, no, that was.
But
fucking,
yeah,
wow. Sorry.
Yeah, the whole start of it. The first paragraph, when I started reading this, I didn't have high hopes, honestly, which sounds bad, but it's basically because I was tripping a lot at the start. It's like I tripped and fell on my face on the starting line, but once I got back up and started running, it was pretty smooth. That's kind of how this felt.
Yeah.
Because all of my grammar things, I'm pretty sure they were all in the first paragraph.
Yeah.
So I think that once I got through that, well, actually no, because I had grammar in regards to the rhyme and stuff like that after that. So never mind. Regardless,
but
only had a lot of problems at the start. After that, it was pretty smooth sailing, and I missed a lot of glaring grammar things just because I was enjoying the read.
Yeah,
and that says something.
I got about halfway through the story, and I was like, man, I'm liking this story way too much. Like, I'm sure there's a bunch of shit I'm missing that like the guys are gonna come at from their more critical point of view, and just rip me a new one on this. Just completely destroy my dreams of loving this story.
Not so much from the sounds of it.
Yeah, no, actually, I was pleasantly surprised.
I really like the witch because she does it. She downplays everything so much that you can't tell if it's the witch or not, and because of that, the story has really high immersion for me, which is my super secret word for me liking a story, basically. Because if you can get fully immersed in it and it's believable, then it gets me, Because in every situation, there's no way to know whether or not it's the witch or not. And the way she portrays herself, she accurately depicts herself as her mother, as someone's parent, doing the things that the parent would do or say.
Yeah. It's sort of I 100% agree with you on that. Like how subtle the magic is. If there is indeed magic, it's kind of like I don't think either of you guys have seen it, but in the season 1 of True Detective, it tackles with the themes of Carcosa and the King in Yellow and stuff.
I feel like I should have seen that, but I haven't.
You probably should have. But throughout the entire season, without spoiling anything, without the entire season, you're never quite sure if something supernatural is happening or not. Like if it's just some coincidences, or it's just like because if there is magic to it, it's so subtle that it's basically like you need to like it's affecting reality in a way that is so subtle that it could be passed off as just something mundane with some strange coincidences.
Yeah, and I'm finding that that's actually my favorite type of magic because it is so believable.
Yeah, I think that's called actually urban weird, like WYRD. Like basically it's actually a kind of genre of urban fantasy and occult mystery stories where the magic is there's a term for it. It's in one of my books. Give me a hot second. Continue with your rundown. I'll be right over here.
And that's all I gotta say.
Fuck. Okay, hang on.
I honestly don't have anything else to say, really.
Sorry, pulling up my Trail of Cthulhu book, by Pelgrane Press. There's a type of magic in it that reminds me of that kind of like magic. There's like a type of magic system you can use that reminds me of that. Idiosyncratic magic. And it's specifically used for like the Bookhounds of London campaign frame for Trail of Cthulhu. Bookhounds, their customers, their contacts, and all those who haunt the mythos black market are superstitious, obsessed, and widely read in the occult. This is the kind of combination that leads people to try magic, and in keeping with the weird, uncanny setting, some of it might work. So basically, it's using using a magic that is rooted in almost like mundane rituals. Like not using spectacular, extravagant like spells and like fiery like energies and stuff like that, but like conducting a ritual of like keeping keeping some kind of like keeping the thigh bones or like the skulls of crows in a pouch on your side, so that you are so you have it acts as like a talisman of protection against bad luck, or like giving somebody the evil eye, like giving somebody the evil eye, like the Etruscan evil eye, where it's like the devil horns, and to suddenly give somebody a spout of bad luck, like across the street, and then they accidentally walk onto the road when they shouldn't be, and a bus hits them. It's that kind of magic that like you just did that, like a hand gesture to somebody, like as like kind of a slur, or like kind of a remark. There's no physical or visible energy transferred, but you may or may not have caused that person to walk onto the street and get hit by a car.
Yeah.
That you didn't like. It's that kind of magic, where it's believable that it could be a coincidence, but it could be your own, like something that you did. So, yeah, no, that's. I was just trying to give you like a term or a word for it, for that kind of magic. So
yeah, because I'm sure I didn't think of that, and I'm sure the writer didn't come up with that. I'm sure it's been used before.
Yeah, probably.
But it is a really cool way to do magic.
Yeah. Okay, so basically what I'm getting at from what I'm hearing is 2.5 or 2.75.
Yeah, 2.75
out of
sounds
3
about right.
for recommendation. Like we all generally enjoyed the story, some more than others, and for various reasons. Fuck that I got to commend you, actually, the plot point of like the witch, it was the mom that went in and asked him about like his day and so that the first time, and then it was the witch the second round of questioning.
And that's something I came up with on recording. I didn't have that ready to go. It's just through our talks. I'm like, wait, what if she is actually the mom?
That's so good. I love it so much. Like,
I came up with leave it to Cleaver on recording too.
God, yeah. No,
all my good shit I didn't have prepared.
Hey man, sometimes that's the best kind of like of setup. It's just like the on the fly improv and like or realization. Ah man, so good. But yeah, so we hope you enjoyed, and if you didn't, or if you did, leave us a comment in the comment section below. This gets posted, whether it be on Podbean, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr. We're all on Twitter. You can send us messages. Mikey's at the E stands for evil. The Gamer in Yellow is at the Gamer in Yellow, but without that W because his name is very long. And I'm at Review Cultist. You can also send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com, where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas, spooky stories, spooky things, SCPs, cryptids. Send them all our way, and we'll take a look at them. We'll read them. We'll discuss them. We'll brainstorm and present it into a show. If you'd like to help support the show financially, you can go to Patreon and select the backer tier you'd like to support us at. We have $2 and $5 tier with special episodes, early access, extra content, all that kind of good shit. To our patrons that are helping support the show, thank you guys immensely. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay, and as always, we very much appreciate that. And to our listeners and the authors of these stories, thank you immensely. Without your listenership, it would be like speaking into the void. And without your stories that you write and share online, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we wouldn't have anything to really talk about. So, thank you. Until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the E stands for evil.
I'm the Gamer in Yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well.